Hi, my name is Judy Norman. We're going to be talking about finding our way through the chaos, an educator's guide to navigating the pandemic.
This series includes 5 videos. The topics and the length of each video is listed here.
In video 3, we're going a little deeper. We already know why self-regulation is so important, and we understand why all of us are feeling so dysregulated. What we're going to learn now is how to find safety within ourselves. To do that, we're going to talk about our need to know what's going on around us, noticing our reactions to that, and then practicing ways to choose our responses. When all of this started, so many of us were just glued to social media. We were trying to get every bit of information we could. That makes so much sense. Remember that the unknown is considered a threat. What was your perception of the unknown? Did you feel like you could do something about it, fight, flight, or freeze? Or did you feel helpless? Most of us probably felt all of those things and probably still are. So what do? How do we find regulation? How do we find safety when we are stuck in these perceptions? Simple. We change the perception. So that's what we're going to talk about now. How do we change or shift perceptions? I'm going to introduce you to a concept coined by Lisa Dion. She is the creator and founder of Synergetic Play Therapy. This concept is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm going to demonstrate it for you. If we think about where my body is right now as being regulated, and to my right as being hyper-aroused, here's regulated, and to my left being hypo-aroused, I want you to think of it this way. When my perception of what's going on around me is that I can do something about it, I'm getting into a hyper-aroused state, so I'm either going to fight, flight, or freeze. If I can recognize that in the moment, then even though I have 1 foot in hyperarousal, I can put 1 foot back in a regulated state, so I'm straddling both. That's a way of connecting back to myself, having 1 foot in regulation and 1 foot in hyperarousal. I can do the same thing with hypoarousal. If my perception of what's going on is I'm helpless and I can't do anything, and I go into a hypo state where I just want to collapse, if I recognize that that's what's going on for me, I can put 1 foot back in a regulated state and have 1 foot in hypo, where I feel like maybe I just want to collapse or not talk to anyone, but at the same time, 1 foot in a regulated state by either taking a deep breath or naming, man, I just feel so exhausted, or something about my body just feels so heavy right now. That's helping me become aware of what's happening in my body. The intensity goes down and I get closer to my window of tolerance. So you're probably thinking, that just sounds way too easy. There's no way that will work. Let me introduce you to one more concept to further explain this. This concept is interoception. Interoception is our 8th sense. We actually have 8 senses, and it is the ability to be aware of what is going on in our bodies. I want you to try something. I want you to put your arm up as high as you can, and when you think you can't put it any higher, reach just a little bit more. Keep it up there while I'm talking. When I tell you to put it down, which I'm not going to yet, I want you to notice the difference between how your arms are feeling, and I'm going to ask you to come up with some words that describe the physical sensation. You ready? Okay. What are you noticing? Heavy? Tingly? Numb? I bet none of us were even thinking about our arms before we did this. The reason it became easy to notice what was happening in one of our arms is because all of a sudden they felt different. And if you need to lift the other one up right now, go ahead. This is an activity I do with kids all the time. I have them do something to one side of their body and not the other, and then they can pay attention to the physical sensations. Why is this important? Well, a highly developed interoceptive awareness is directly linked to self-regulation.
think about it. If throughout the day you are stopping and checking in with your body, how do I feel? What's going on? You're going to know what your body needs. I'd be willing to bet that if you start doing this, at first it's going to be hard to even notice anything. That's why differentiating and helping one side feel different than another can be very helpful. If you go to the handouts, there's lots of activities on there of how to do this with kids. And it's a great skill. We know that this supports self-regulation. So if we do it and we practice all day, and then whenever we're online with our kids, if we start with just a very quick 15-20 second interoceptive activity, we are supporting them developing this skill, which is going to go a very long way in helping them learn to self-regulate. So now I'm sitting on my yoga ball. How did I know that I needed to sit on my yoga ball? If I wasn't able to notice the tingly, antsy feeling in my legs, I wouldn't have known, hey, sitting on the yoga ball might be something that would help me feel better. It might bring me back into my window of tolerance and I might feel more regulated. So if I don't have those skills in recognizing what's happening in my body, how am I ever going to know when and how to regulate?
Keep practicing these first 3 strategies. Now think of it through the lens of interoception and 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If I'm able to stay aware of what's happening in my body, then I'll know when dysregulation happens. With one of these 3 strategies, I can keep 1 foot in regulation, which will help move me back towards my window of tolerance.